guys, it's Caden. Welcome to another Autism Digest interview, where today we have a rock legend with us. He's the drummer for the sensational rock group Poison, led by Brett Michaels, which is one of the top-selling metal acts of the 90s and the 2000s. He's contributed a recipe to the infamous Rock and Roll Autism cookbook by Brian Hankerson. He is Rikki Rockett. Thanks for coming on, Rikki.
Thanks for having me.
I think a lot of people might remember you. Poison is up there as being one of the top metal and rock groups of the century. But for those that may not know you, do you mind telling a bit of your story in your own words?
Oh gosh. Yeah, so the band actually got a record deal in 1986, and our first single did okay. It was called Cry Tough, put us on the map. But our second single, Talk Dirty to Me, really blew up on both radio and MTV. We went out on the road with Rat and made our second record after that tour. And after that tour, we toured with David Lee Roth. And after that tour, we headlined and started doing all our headlining tours. And we've had that career ever since. We've had lots of ups and downs, and but we stuck together, and it's all the original members still. And so we're still here to talk about it.
And as they say, the rest is for written record. Look at the legacy Poison has left behind. My next question for you is, apart from the Autism Cookbook, do you have any other experiences interacting with the autism community that you want to talk about?
Just friends with kids that have autism. I have a few friends, and my kids are friends with them. I'm friends with their parents, but my kids are not. But my son has ADHD, so I'm not sort of foreign to when kids need a little extra help.
I absolutely admire that. I think it's important that parents teach their kids sooner to be empathetic towards people's situations. So I'm glad you've applied that to your kiddos. My next question for you is, you contributed to the Autism Rocks and Rolls cookbook by Brian Hankerson decades ago. Do you mind telling us a bit about how you got involved with that?
Basically, he just reached out to me one day and introduced himself and said, "I'm doing this book and I'd love to have you in it. And this is the cause and this is what we're doing it for." And I said, "Absolutely, I'd love to do it. I don't know how good my cooking is, but even if I can help just a little bit, why not?" So I did, and there we are.
Yeah, here you're indeed. I had a chance to look at your recipe during the research portion of the interview, and I have to say it sounds good, which leads to my next question for you. Yeah, as a contributor to a cookbook, what are your tips for helping autistic individuals handle food aversions?
To handle what? Food
aversions, which is sensitivities to certain foods.
Well, my wife, has a lot of allergies, so I'm pretty used to having to be careful with things like that. And I've been vegetarian for 30 years, so I have my own aversions to certain things, you know what I mean? So if somebody needs something special, it's like, yeah, hey, why not? Tolerance is key, tolerance with all these things is key in our world. So, I think the more we can educate, the better.
I absolutely agree with that, and I like that statement. And I agree with any cause, really. The more we can educate and work to learn about people's situations, the better off we'll be at understanding them better and being empathetic and being more accommodating as a society. Which leads to my next question for you. How can the music industry be better accommodating to neurodivergent artists?
That's a good question. I think there are artists that are autistic. There's artists that are ADHD. I think I'm probably ADD myself. So the contributions from, I mean, here's the thing. A lot of autistic people can multitask in ways that people that don't can. And I've found that sometimes it's a superpower, literally. And you cannot judge a book by its cover. And the cool thing is that at least for the most part, and this isn't across the board, but for the most part, I feel like musicians are a little more open to all kinds of different people as long as they have something to contribute and they're being creative. I think other musicians listen to other musicians. And if they don't, they usually don't last that long. You can usually pick them out. They're usually not the ones that are the cream of the crop. It's the ones that are very open-minded. And I would recommend that artists listened if a neurodivergent artist had a great song idea, for example, listen to the song. Listen to the song. Maybe it's not good. Maybe it's something that you never ever would have thought because it's coming from somebody that perceives things just a little bit different than you do. And that's key.
I like that. I really do. I absolutely agree. You don't have to like an artist's music. In fact, there's a lot of artists that I don't like. Specifically, one song I despise is "You Will Be Found" from Dear Evan Hansen, if you know that musical. Well, but you can at least give it a listen. It's common courtesy and give it the time of day. Hey, especially in an era of music where AI is being taken over. So I definitely like that statement about giving people a chance. My last question for you is, what does the future hold for you? Do you have any other solo albums or work with Poison that you want to promote?
Well, I have this side band called Rocket Mafia, and so we're going to be going out a lot next year and doing shows and maybe putting out an EP. I've been talking to a record label about that literally today, and I think it's something that we're probably going to do.
That sounds awesome. We'll be sure to be on the lookout for it. Anyways, that's going to do it for this interview, guys. Thank you so much to Rikki for coming on and sharing his perspectives. If you guys want to see more amazing interviews, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the Autism Digest channel. Be sure to get your November issue, which is out now, by going to autismdigest.com. And stay tuned for the audio file of this interview to be posted on our Spotify. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.